Here's Stankie.
What's up everybody, another beautiful day in Azeroth, and today we're diving into the rework and all the updates enhancement shamans are getting in the 20th anniversary patch. Currently there's a lot of major changes to enhancement with a lot of fun new stuff to smash your enemies with, improvements to existing talents and abilities, and yes, Totemic is finally being updated, and much to my surprise, Totemic is absolutely wild right now. Keep in mind this is early PTR, so things can and most likely will change further. So I'm just gonna go down the list with the updates, how they affect us and my thoughts on them. But most of it is straight up awesome, starting off with the enhancement tree, and then we go over to the hero talents. Doomwinds has gotten some extra love on top of what it used to do. It now also costs you to AoE around you during it, giving it even more value in AoE, and it actually deals damage outside of Wind Fury generating abilities. Could do more damage, but it's a start. Ascendance cooldown has been reduced down to 2 minutes from 3, which is a very welcome change. Not exactly where I personally want it, but it beats the hell out of a 3-minute cooldown that doesn't line up with shit. Deeply rooted elements got massively improved on live. It gives Stormstrike a chance to proc Ascendance, but in the new patch your spenders proc Ascendance instead. So casting Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, or Tempest has a 6% chance to proc Ascendance instead. First of all, this opens up Deeply Rooted Element as a potential talent for a lot of different builds, since it no longer hinges on Stormstrike spam. For example, picking up a naked Deeply Rooted Elements with the new Totemic build allows you to still spam Lava Lash, and when Ascendance procs from a spender, it instead just works as a buff for your surging totem slaps. It feels great and it is super fun to play with. One issue is that since it procs of casting a spender, not spending Maelstrom, it will lead us to again wanna spend just to fish for procs. It'll promote an unhealthy playstyle where you just wanna spend at 5 Maelstrom or whenever possible. Had it instead procced from amount of Maelstrom spent, where the more Maelstrom you spend, the higher the proc chance is, would probably work a lot better, as you wouldn't be punished for building up to 10 Maelstrom rather than 5. But again, it's miles better than the previous Deeply Rooted Elements. Now, to synergize with this, they improved Stormblast to now give Stormstrike an additional charge, something I've wanted for a very long time, and it makes Windstrike spam during Ascendance even more enjoyable, at least if you want to have one button mash during it. Well, that's all you're gonna do when Ascendance procs. Spam that glorious Windstrike button and machine gun out spenders. Sundering got a bit of a glow up as well with a new talent called Molten Thunder, reducing its cooldown by 10 seconds, and Storm Surge has a chance to also reset the cooldown of Sundering. Storm Surge is the new name for our mastery, so the Storm Strike reset can also reset Sundering, but it no longer interrupts or incaps if you take this talent. It's just a damaging ability. It could be decent for AoE, as Sundering itself does decent damage, but also has a chance to proc Wind Fury. Also added a new very fun talent called Voltaic Blaze. Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning has a 18% chance to proc this, or Flame Shock into a nuke. Hits a total of 6 targets, dealing a massive amount of damage, and applies Flame Shock to all targets hit. A fun dopamine button. Button glows and you know you're gonna do damn. Seems currently it was a bit bugged, as you could proc this with Sundering rather than manually pressing Flame Shock when it procs, which makes me kinda really want that interaction to be a thing, or have it proc when you spread Flame Shock. Opens up the talent for more builds, reduces button load a bit, or need for spamming an extra button. Either way, it works as it is a fantastic talent. Very fun to play with. Now for a little less fun stuff, they've tried to improve Ice Strike, so currently you can either pick good old Ice Strike as it's always been, works the the same, or you can take passive Ice Strike. When you spend Maelstrom, you have a chance to proc Ice Strike, turning your Frost Shock into it, but it still does the same thing. So in an attempt to reduce button bloat, they've made it so that rather than just pressing Ice Strike and buffing Frost Shock, you now instead randomly get Ice Strike to proc, giving you overall fewer Ice Strikes and no agency over when to use it. Really see what they're trying to accomplish with this, but this ain't it. At least you can talent into OG Ice Strike rather than the passive, but yeah, it needs to go back into the oven and cook a bit more. I mean, at the very least, make it more impactful than OG Ice Strike since we get fewer and it's random. I don't know, makes sense. We're also getting a new Feral Spirit talent. Flowing Spirits. Ooh. You can no longer cast Feral Spirits. Instead, your damaging abilities has a chance to spawn a Feral Spirit. Again, an attempt to reduce button bloat, and this could for sure be a thing, but it does need to rival OG Feral Spirit uptime, or else it's just a never pick kind of talent. But yeah, as long as the proc rate gets improved, this could be a thing. Not sure if I personally enjoy it. I kinda like the Witch Doctor's Ancestry cooldown reduction loop, but you never know. Lastly, for the enhancement tree, they've also tried to improve Crash Lightning viability in single target with Converging Storms. It's now a choice node with a new talent called Unrelenting Storms. When Crash hits one target, it procs Wind Fury and gets a 40% cooldown reduction. On paper, this sounds kinda decent, but in actuality, it is nothing. The only time you want more Crash Lightnings is potentially on AoE during Doom wins, so getting more of them on single target and an extra Wind Fury proc won't really make Crash good to press. Better, but yeah, you won't pick this. So let's move on to hero talents instead, starting off with Totemic, which, spoilers, is kinda awesome now, not gonna lie. Oh, Totemic Rebound has been reworked, so it no longer procs from only Storm Strike. Yay! Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Elemental Blast has a chance to proc it now instead, so works for all builds, not only Storm Strike builds. Yay! Lively Totems still spawn only from Lava Lash, but they've baked in the old Reactivity talent into Lively Totems, so Lava Lash spawns Totems and Hailstorm empowered Frost Shocks, Fire Nova, and Lava Lash causes the totem to go boom boom in AoE. This used to be two separate talents, and Reactivity on the other hand is now probably my currently favorite talent, at least visually. While Hot Hand is active, Lava Lash casts Sundering at 30% effectiveness, and this Sundering does not in-cap, it just deals damage. But this is nothing short of visually amazing. I love Sundering's animation, and getting to see it all the freaking time really feels like a Lava Lash when you smack the mob and rip open the earth with Sundering. Now, if only the Sundering Rift could stay open for a few seconds and spew out lava on nearby enemies. It used to only increase Wind Fury chance to proc and its damage, but now when Flame Tongue procs off your Wind Fury attack, so your extra melee attack, it has a chance to trigger an AoE. Gather a whirl of flame around you, dealing 100% of its damage to all nearby enemies 3 times. So pretty much you're doing your thing, smacking that mob, and boom, you're a Fire Nova, pulsating AoE. And the capstone Whirling Elements has been reworked, or the motes that you get have. So now the Air Mote, your next Lightning Bolt, Elemental Blast, or Chain Lightning, arcs 3 Surging Bolts, which is Totemic Rebound, dealing a ton of damage and makes your Surging Totem do more damage. The Earth Mote, direct damage of your next Flame Shock is increased by 300% and applies to 5 nearby targets, so 6 in total, meaning we can go into a pack, pop our Surging Totem into a Flame Shock and reach maximum targets without needing to spread it, making it a lot more enjoyable as far as setting up for Fire Nova or Primordial Wave goes. And the Fire Mote, your next Lava Lash or Fire Nova, triggers Hot Hand. This I absolutely love. Giving us a bit of agency over our otherwise RNG proxies feels good. Starting a boss with hot hand is infinitely more enjoyable than going naked. It just gives our rotation a ton of momentum in both AoE and single target. Plus, have you forgotten that Lava Lash frickin' shoots sundering now? Bro, the new glow up for Totemic is such a win on many levels. It's really fun to play now and performs well, pending tuning. Biggest issue with Totemic is that it is a static totem that does damage around it. Any encounter with movement is going to feel so bad. Ever so sweet Leilana from the Enhancement Discord had the suggestion of rather than the totem dealing damage, it buffs you so that you AoE around you, pop surging totem, and the totem buffs you like most totems do. Makes sense? Then we flipped the script over to Stormbringer, which has also gotten a few tweaks. First of all, Arc Discharge now increases the damage of your next Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt, and it casts an additional time, and can be cast without Maelstrom, but of course deals a metric ton more damage with Maelstrom. This change means it's viable on both single target and AoE. Swell is completely reworked as well, and it is a choice node together with Supercharge. So new Swell Tempest gives you 10% mastery for 6 seconds. As boring as it is, it's still good, but how good it is entirely depends on tuning, if 10% is enough or not. However, that it is a choice between Swell and Supercharge, which is Stormbringer's Maelstrom weapon refund, I am not a fan of that. Mainly because refunds are fun, passive mastery is not. But overall, these changes to Arc Discharge and Swell is a good start, since before you were stuck with a dead talent half of the time, because either it only triggered on single target or AoE. We have choices. At the utility side of Stormbringer has been updated as well. New choice node, Lightning Conduit or Electro Shock. Lightning Conduit, you have a chance to be struck by lightning, increasing your movement speed by 50% for 5 seconds, 100% if you're doing outdoor content. Best! Also apparently cast Thunderstorm when you ank. I wouldn't know, I've never died in game, so I've never had to press ank. Electro Shock on the other hand, anytime you Tempest you gain 20% movement speed. I like these. This combined with Ghost Wolf, Spirit Walk, Feral Lunge, we will not be losing a lot of uptime, that's for sure. Then we have Surging Current. When you Tempest, your next healing surge or chain heal heals for 20 to 100% more. Big fan of this. Big. I really didn't like the old one that just gave you a free healing surge, which still ate your Maelstrom, so it wasn't free. Because I mean, if it's gonna use my Maelstrom, it might as well heal more rather than be instant, which is what this does. And Nature's Protection. Lightning Shield reduces damage taken by 3%. Now this one is a bit interesting. More damage reduction is always nice, and it does open up Elemental Orbit as a talent in our class tree, allowing us to have both Earth Shield and Lightning Shield, which sounds pretty dope. And that's pretty much it for all the upcoming changes to Enhancement in the anniversary patch. Now, like I said earlier, I expect some of this to get changed, tweaked, updated, reworked, and I will of course post videos about that as well. But overall, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. There's still crap in the corners, but there's a lot less of it now. I mean, Totemic going from a garbage fire that I wouldn't piss on to put out to a well-rounded awesome set of hero talents took me by surprise. Now if you have any questions at all, hit me up in the comments. You can also become a patron, Twitch sub, or YouTube member. If you'd like to help support my work, you get access to the Stankie Gaming Discord, which is the fastest way to get a hold of me, where you can get help with anything Enhancement or PvE related. You can also get shoutouts in videos, among other things. Don't forget the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, slap that notification bell. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.